Attention Earthlings, do not attempt to adjust your dial.
You are about to voyage into the marvelously mystifying.
Join us as we navigate the enigmatic waters of consciousness, delve into the arcane realms of the occult and the paranormal, and converse with captivating beings from across the universe.
Prepare to expand your mind, challenge your perceptions, and journey into the unknown with your guides, Bunnicula and HP Hovercraft.
The frequencies of strangeness await.
Welcome to Dizzy Spell.
Wow. We're playing a fast and loose today, I feel like.
Fast and loose, but I did a good amount of research.
You did, but
I did.
But me on this side of the table,
the fast and loose side.
yes, I was at work 15 minutes ago.
Well, thank you for being here, HP Hovercraft. I am Bunnicula.
I'm happy to be here.
Great.
As HP Hovercraft, it's funny. It feels right to that it's dark.
Yes.
Now,
it's
finally.
like we're back to normal.
It's this whole year that we've been here. It has not been dark.
Yeah.
It's gotten dark as we've gone on. This feels appropriate. Mm-hmm. The lights are in the right way.
Yes.
I'm sure the moon is aligned in some sort of way that makes me feel comfortable without me even realizing it.
The moon was beautiful. I noticed it on the way in. It's looking good tonight. You're looking good, moon.
Yeah, shout out to the moon.
Shout out, baby. We love the moon.
All right.
All right. So, welcome to the Dizzy Spell Earthlings. I'm Bunnicula.
HP Hovercraft.
HP Hovercraft here in We Own This Town Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City. So I just want to go off and say, first off, HP Hovercraft won Halloween.
Did I win?
I think you won it.
Are
had
you serious?
The best costume.
Okay.
I mean,
cool.
Shout out to your wife. Who
well,
I'm
yeah,
assuming
that's
who
all
helped.
credit to my wife.
But she did an amazing job.
I say something like, I kind of want to be this.
Yeah.
And then the night before Halloween, she stays up until 4 o'clock in the morning just doing it with nothing.
Do you want to tell the listeners?
Makes it from nothing. Yes, so as Enoch from Over the Garden Wall, which I watched for the first time this year.
Such a good one.
But so you have and everyone's told me about this. This is like the kind of thing that everyone has told me you will love. You have loved for a long time.
Mm-hmm,
I have never seen. My wife watched it maybe like several Halloweens ago.
Yeah.
And was like, you will love this. And I just, at a certain point, this is a problem that I have when enough people start saying you should watch this. I go, I'm just not going to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or I go, I'll get to it,
Yeah.
There's so many things out there, and this was just one that took me a long time to get to. But I finally did.
It's perfection.
And the impetus of it was showing it to Casper, or having a young child to then watch it to.
He's
watch
like the perfect age for it. Mm-hmm.
He showed interest.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't absorb most of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's the kind of thing where you when you're 2 or 3 and you now he'll watch that every year and go, I've watched this my whole life. I have deep memories that I think about watching on VHS a long time. There's this, it's maybe a Snow White adjacent thing. I gotta figure out what it actually is, but I have a deep memory of this VHS tape that I watched all the time that I have no idea what it was, and nobody ever talks about it. But I believe that there was dwarves involved.
Ooh, is it live action?
No, it's animated.
Interesting.
Or even think about older generations and that their thing is the Lord of the Rings animated thing.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, totally.
Or do you know who Mr. Bumpy is?
No. What is that?
The Mr. Bumpy is an animated the actual show is called Bump in the Night.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
And it's a claymation 90s, but nobody knows about it.
Okay, yeah.
But
was
Over
it
the Garden
Canadian?
Wall, yes,
Okay.
totally.
Okay.
But Over the Garden Wall is a thing like that.
Okay.
I think for the current generation.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's exciting.
I love it.
If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's really good.
So
You
good.
can kind of watch it in one sitting, it's a movie. Great voice cast, amazing
Yeah,
voice
the
cast.
music's
really.
amazing. The writing.
So Enoch himself is Chris Isaac, and then you
So
got
good.
Elijah Wood in there.
Christopher Lloyd.
That's what I was going to say.
There's so many famous
and
people.
There's more and more
Is John Cleese Endicott,
yeah, John
Honeycutt or whatever?
Totally.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was my costume. My wife made it in one night. nobody recognized me, but I looked like a funny little scary pumpkin guy.
Wow, I'm surprised people didn't recognize you.
That's what I'm saying. I think that it's like it's one of those things that's extremely good, but it's not like, as it has aged, it's not like elevated and becoming more popular. It's in fact becoming like slowly more niche.
That's interesting.
So
cool. Okay.
So
cool.
Let's sing its praises and
Please.
let's get people to watch it, because it is very, very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to jump very soon into the main portion of this episode, but I just want to go ahead and say on the record, Bunnicula have been pretty bad about soliciting DQs this season thus far. I did get an inquiry about how to submit the DQs, and so I will just reiterate that you can DM us on Instagram at DizzySpellWorld, or you can email us at info@dizzyspell.show. So if you have some sort of question, hypothetical, would you rather, whatever, something you'd like us to answer on air, I would love to hear it.
I think that we should set up a voicemail thing.
Yes.
And you can do that.
Yeah. Send us voice memos.
So we could so it's like a number that we could specifically have if people can leave us voice messages and also texts.
Okay. That's fun.
We'll figure it out. It'll probably be next season that we actually get to that.
If we're being real here.
But that would be pretty cool.
I love it. Well, speaking of strategic planning, I should say, for our podcast, we launched the new podcast version of Dizzy Spell in April for Alien April. And it's been about 6 months since then. So we are at what I'm calling Alien Half Christmas. Alien Half April.
Alien Half Christmas is so it goes Alien April, and then we got Halloween, and then after Halloween is Alien Half Christmas.
Exactly.
And I love that.
So that's what we're getting into, because, and I'm not even going to get into the New Fork database tonight, because that is small fry, my friends.
Okay.
There has been, I feel like, since last Alien April, so many articles that I have saved that have been like, we've got to talk about this on the show, but we had a lot of other things to talk about. So tonight, here it is. We're going to mainline it. Oops, all aliens.
Loading database. Oops, all aliens.
Nice. I love that.
Okay.
That's amazing.
So we're going to start out with a Did You Know? This is from Wikipedia. On August 21st through 23rd, 1924, Mars entered an opposition closer to Earth than at any time in the century before or the next 80 years. In the United States, a National Radio Silence Day was promoted during a 36-hour period, with all radios quiet for 5 minutes on the hour every hour. At the United States Naval Observatory, a radio receiver was lifted 1.9 miles above the ground in a dirigible, tuned to a wavelength between 8 and 9 kilometers using a radio camera developed by Amherst College and Charles Francis Jenkins. The program was led by David Peck Todd with the military assistance of Admiral Edward W. Eberly, with William F. Friedman, who was a chief cryptographer of the United States Army, and they were assigned to translate any potential Martian messages. In the end, however, no signals were detected.
Well, that's unfortunate. Just to clarify,
yes,
it was lifted not by some sort of
but it was by the Navy.
Intentionally lifted.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make
Sorry.
sure.
Yes.
Make sure.
So I guess what I'm saying is there was this huge project for a 36-hour period where all these radios would go quiet.
I said, listen, we're quieting down. Yeah. We're going to listen for the aliens.
This is interesting. And this was exactly 100 years ago that they did this. I kind of wish they had done it again this year. Pretty interesting stuff, right?
For the 100th anniversary.
Right. We should have done
it. And they said, listen, guys, we're going to get something. Everybody keep quiet.
It'll be kind of like the Loch Ness Monster situation, right? It's like if you get 1 million people to come look for Loch Ness, he can't possibly hide.
He can't hide everywhere.
Exactly.
No, but as the kid said, we can't find him because he has a family now and he's raising his children.
I think that is true. So I just wanted to start with this to sort of set the tone for today, okay?
Nice.
Like 100-year anniversary of searching the skies. And that's not to say that Nikola Tesla was doing stuff before this. There were people even before this trying
How did they raise it so high?
In a dirigible.
What's that?
That's like a hot air balloon, right?
Oh, cool.
Or let's see here. Dirigible. It's like an airship. Yeah, like a Zeppelin.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is it a Led Zeppelin or?
I don't know.
Just kidding. Those don't exist, I think.
So we're going to start off there. But next, I want to go into this article I found on futurism.com. So
great site. Shout out futurism.com.
It is good.
The Dizzy spell would be nothing without futurism.com.
So in a new paper, a team of researchers from Harvard and Montana Technological University speculates that sightings of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAP, may reflect activities of intelligent beings concealed in stealth here on Earth, for example, underground, and or its near environs, for example, the moon, and or even walking among us, such as passing as humans. So they argue the theory deserves genuine consideration in a spirit of epistemic humility and openness. So this is like a thought experiment, but they put this full research paper out about this. And the interest in unexplained sightings of UFOs by military personnel, of course, has grown considerably. The attention really hit a peak last summer when former Air Force intelligence officer and whistleblower David Grush testified in front of Congress. We'll get back to that. Claiming that the U.S. had already recovered alien spacecraft as part of a decades-long UFO retrieval program. So even NASA has opened its doors to researchers to explore these objects that have been spotted by military pilots over the years. But several Pentagon reports later, we have yet to find any evidence of extraterrestrial life. But this hasn't dissuaded these researchers, and they posit a few different possibilities here. So one is that a, quote, remnant form of an ancient, highly advanced human civilization is still hanging around observing us. Second is that an intelligent species evolved independently of humans in the distant past, possibly from intelligent dinosaurs, and is now hiding their presence from us.
Wow.
Yeah. Third is that these hidden occupants of Earth traveled here from another planet or time period. And fourth is that these unknown inhabitants of Earth are, quote, less technological than magical, which the researchers liken to earthbound angels. So this is interesting.
Well, first of all, Casper will be really excited at the concept of intelligent dinosaurs still existing because he is obsessed with dinosaurs, but doesn't really understand that they don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
waiting
tell
to see
him that.
Oh,
they died so long ago.
Dude, you gotta show him We're Back. Did you ever watch that?
Yes,
that was my favorite.
Oh yeah. Directed by John Patrick Shanley.
Okay.
Who also directed the movie Doubt.
I don't know. Is that about nuns?
Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Okay.
About it's like a pastor diddling kids movie.
Oh no.
And yeah.
Okay.
Those are like the two movies that I know that John Patrick Shanley did.
John Patrick Shanley has two wolves inside him. We're Back and Doubt.
We're Back and Doubt.
Wow. So UFO sightings of craft and other phenomenon such as orbs appearing to enter and exit potential underground access points like volcanoes. They think that this could be evidence that these cryptoterrestrials, which I want to be called a cryptoterrestrial now.
Well, also, you got to harken back to the most North Pole that we have talked about on the show.
The entrance to the underground in 100%. The North Pole. Yeah, totally. So they're saying that maybe it's not that these cryptoterrestrials are drawn to these spots, but rather they reside in these underground or underwater bases. Mm-hmm. And as long-time Dizzy Spellian listeners know, there has been tons of sightings of craft that just disappear into the ocean. Where are they going? Tell me.
Deep into the core.
Something. So this paper quotes former House Representative Mike Gallagher, who suggested last year that one explanation for these sightings might be an ancient civilization that's just been hiding here for all this time and is suddenly showing itself right now. And this was following David Grush's testimony. So they go on to suggest that perhaps they even take on different non-human primate or reptile forms, but that's just
No, that's awesome.
Of course we can get into the reptile side of this, but it says that beyond residing deep underground, they even speculate that they could be concealing themselves on the moon or have mastered the art of blending in as humans, which is obviously a folk theory that has inspired countless works of science fiction, movies, and books. And these far-fetched hypotheses they deserve to be regarded with plenty of skepticism. The paper reads, "We entertain these ideas here because some aspects of UAP are strange enough that they seem to call for unconventional explanations. It may be exceedingly improbable, but hopefully this paper has shown it should nevertheless be kept on the table as we seek to understand the ongoing empirical mystery of UAP." Interesting, right?
Yeah. I like kind of want to push back against the concept of it being like, oh, just like sci-fi hibby-jibby, you know?
Well, yeah,
like,
I think they're saying
it's
that
coming from something.
Yeah, I think that they're just saying that these ideas have inspired all of that. Yeah, yeah.
But I think that it's like, you can't dismiss it because then it's like, oh, it's become fiction, right? Like it's obviously coming from something.
Yeah.
And so how is it not like, how can you not like circle back to like, oh, obviously that has some sort of basis in reality and that's how they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the next thing I thought was really interesting was I stumbled upon this quote from Jim Semivan, who was a retired CIA agent. He retired in 2007 after 25 years of service in the CIA. And so this is from a recent interview. He says, there are a lot of problems associated with revealing this, meaning disclosure, right? So in this particular case, the government decided to keep it secret. So over the last 80 years, this has been to the detriment of many people who have had experiences and have been told that they're crazy, which is exactly the opposite.
Yes.
He says, I have met people who are aware of this, and as I mentioned before, one of them told me that the truth is indigestible. It is not something that we can fully understand or accept. It would be like telling someone something they can do nothing about and not knowing the repercussions of it. It's so big, so life-changing, and perhaps not in a good way. This is echoing what Tom DeLonge was talking about,
this
right?
Is like that's really ultimately like been the conversation for the better half of this century.
Yeah.
Like in that it's like, it is so mind-blowing. Like we're just not, like they're just not ready to let it out there the way that it actually is.
Yeah.
They have to slowly, like how slowly do they have to like drip feed everybody the facts like we are doing kind of presently on this.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it is the responsibility of small independent things like this to kind of slowly dole out the information so that it becomes a easier pill to swallow when it's actually like unveiled what is truly known and what is truly out there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when asked what could be so shocking and disturbing for the public, if the general notion is that we're being visited by some extraterrestrial intelligence a little more advanced and developed than us, Jim Semivan replied, I think it goes much deeper. If you talk to the average American, they're not interested in this issue. We who are discussing this are part of a small group internationally that cares about it, but we're very small niche. This phenomenon does not affect most people's personal lives. In talking about this with Lou Elizondo, he once drew me a Venn diagram on a whiteboard. On one side was consciousness, and on the other was quantum theory. The shaded part in the middle, he said, is probably where this is. And if you think about it, what are the two things that we don't know much about? Consciousness, whether it's local or not, and quantum theory. This is so fascinating to me. I love it. So the subjects of UAPs would go beyond the simply extraterrestrial with the non-human intelligences capable of materializing in our reality. In the early days of quantum theory, it's understood that we are immaterial, basically an illusion, and then atoms in general are invisible and there's no matter there. We are just forms of energy. Now imagine if the president had to explain this on national television. There's no way to do this without causing a huge shock. So he concludes by saying, if this fact is declared, there is no turning back. It is said that another presence in the universe visits us and we do not understand it. It has capabilities that defy our understanding, such as manipulating matter and the electromagnetic spectrum, and can show us things that may or may not be real at the same time. This introduces the idea of sovereignty, free will, and raises questions about whether society can bear it. The socioeconomic and religious implications are enormous. He suggests that this fact that they are not simply aliens is what has been holding up recent efforts by the U.S. Congress to gain greater transparency about UAP. So a term that should be noted, replace the more simplistic UFO precisely to give more layers of depth to the reality of it. Cool, right?
Yeah. I mean, that really like spells out all of the things.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Right? Like imagine in this current election days tomorrow as of us recording this.
Yes.
Things are wild, to put it lightly. Things are close. I think that a lot of people are pretty uneasy about what's going on.
Yeah.
Factor all of what you just said into it.
Yeah, we could not handle it.
It's not the time. It is the time in terms of it's gone on too long. With the advent of technology, in terms of just recording capabilities and more like monitoring.
Yeah.
It's time in terms of it's just a matter of time before there's like a full-on leak.
Yeah.
For back a better like. But it's not the time to add another thing.
Well, we'll get to it, but there's congressional hearings scheduled for November 13th. So we'll get to that.
We'll see.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to share is from SingularFortean.com. The Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, shout outs, revealed evidence of recovered UFO materials at their annual symposium in Irving, Texas earlier this month. News broke of the upcoming presentation in a press release provided by MUFON in June, in which it was teased as the most important UAP-related presentation MUFON has ever made. So this MUFON researcher, Robert Bob Spearing, presented the evidence in front of a live audience at the event. According to him, MUFON was contacted last year by a Russian man named Arkady, who wished to report the recovery of mysterious materials that he believed came from a crashed UFO. Arkady claimed that he had been in contact with an unknown entity named Timiku after performing CE5 experiments with a group of people. So CE5 refers to a process to contact UFOs and their occupants, and it was invented by a person named Dr. Stephen Greer. I think we should do an episode about this guy.
Okay.
There's so much to this guy, but the short of it is that he is a retired traumatologist who founded SETI, the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, in 1990, and it was founded to create diplomatic and research-based initiative to contact extraterrestrial civilizations. So he largely focuses on close encounters of the fifth kind, or CE5.
Whoa, I've never seen that acronym.
Okay.
CE5.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah. So this is the idea that there's direct communication between aliens and humans involving bilateral contact experiences through conscious, voluntary, and proactive human-initiated cooperative communication with ET intelligence. So as a result of this contact, Arkady said he began to experience apports of strange objects in his home. He first noticed a black fragment of some unknown material near his laptop one day, but thought nothing of it and threw it away. However, the next day he noticed another such fragment.
What do you mean he threw it away? Okay, so hold on. No, just because he's saying he noticed a black fragment, some unknown material, that typically would be like, oh, I was just seeing things. But what do you mean you threw it away? What did you...
Yeah, like, where did it go after that?
Like, what? No, but like, it was like some object,
yeah,
that like your head just goes to like dark matter, like some sort of like black matter.
Sounds like it was some kind of fragment. So because the next
day
day
he just was like, throw this away and then never think about it again.
Well, he apparently had to think about it the next day because he noticed another fragment.
Flew out from the trash.
Ooh, maybe it was the same one.
Came back, said, you don't throw me away. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody puts
that
extraterrestrial fragment in the corner.
Yes.
So at that point, he said he realized the fragments had been materialized special for me. And according to Timiku, they were pieces of UFO wreckage. So in the coming days, he would find several more pieces of this mysterious substance, which is black with a gold tinge and appears to be metallic, although it is very lightweight. He said that he sent the pieces of the material to be analyzed by 2 labs in Russia who both used X-ray fluorescence to identify its composition. The technique is often used to preserve the material being tested. So after a week, the lab contacted him to say the material is composed of an organometallic but not graphene substance that consists of organic atoms with admixture atoms, metals, and semimetals. The lab claimed to have only been able to identify 10% of the material's components, among them bromine, calcium, titanium, iron, and copper. Following these tests, some of the material was sent to the MUFON lab in Missouri where similar tests were conducted. According to Lynn Mann, chief analyst at the MUFON laboratory who conducted the tests, an X-ray fluorescent gun was unable to detect any known elements, which surprised us as similar constructs had been identified by a previous lab. The mystery substance came up with a no match against the standard, but it also has a chemistry reading. So if there is no match to the standard, it will give out a set of elements that it finds if the sample is metal, she said. It found none. This is so weird. So that either means, she said, it is not metal or a metal alloy, or it isn't a metal we recognize on the periodic table.
Man.
Weird, right? So
that is weird.
So they also did a spectrograph reading that returned results that the lab was unable to identify. They said it may have been a background signal, but they've never had this happen before. So she concluded that by appearance only, it appears to be some type of lightweight insulation suited to conductive insulating of something needing heat protection and needing to conserve on weight to operate, which makes sense, right? Like the hull of a ship, wouldn't that need heat protection and wouldn't that need to conserve on weight to operate? Like, makes sense to me. So, in another strange turn, the sample went missing when the lab tried to ship it back to Spearing. And he said that the package apparently made it to his locked post office box, but it was gone by the time he arrived to retrieve it. Yeah. Oof. He says he went to the mail clerk and she said, yes, it was delivered. I put the box in your mailbox yourself. So the question becomes, who would be daring enough to remove something from a federally governed mailbox?
No, it's the whatever is inside of it. It's so have you seen The Iron Giant?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of The Iron Giant, when the Iron Giant's already flown into the rocket, Superman, I am not a gun. Also voiced by Vin Diesel. Isn't that hilarious?
Absolutely.
In retrospect. Also, okay, just a quick aside.
Do it.
About the Iron Giant. Because I've watched this movie a lot lately. Keep showing it to Casper.
It's great.
Because it is one of the it's creeping up into my top, I will say, 20 films of all time.
It's a really good movie.
So good. The part where Hogarth is the kid's name, is explaining. So they are in the woods and they see the hunters that have killed the deer, and he's explaining to the Iron Giant that they killed the deer.
Yes.
And the Iron Giant is like, what happened? And he's like, he died. He's dead. And he's like, it's bad to kill, but it's not bad to die, is what he says to the Iron Giant.
That's nice.
And then the Iron Giant goes, you die? And he goes, yeah, I'll die. And Iron Giant goes, I die? And he goes, well, but you're made of metal and stuff, but you have feelings. So that means you have a soul, and souls don't die. And that's in a children's movie. All of that. And I'm just weeping.
Yeah, no. It's a great movie.
It's bad to kill, but it's not bad to die.
Yeah.
And I'm just crying. What was my point?
Vin Diesel. No, I'm kidding.
No.
The mysterious material being found.
Oh, okay. So at the end of the Iron Giant, after the Iron Giant has blown himself up to save the town, Hogarth gets mailed a small piece of the Iron Giant, which then hones itself.
Yes.
To the Iron Giant is now rebuilding itself.
Yes.
That's what's going on there.
Oh, you think that's what's happening? Ooh, okay. I like this theory. So I will just end this little portion by saying that according to MUFON, another sample was mailed from Russia, which they opened live on stage at this MUFON symposium. And that sample was going to be sent on to 2 more laboratories where it was going to be examined with an electron microscope. So I'm curious to see where we end up landing.
Whatever thing is going on, it's rebuilding a larger part of itself, and they're all gonna slowly disappear, like the thing from before, and they're all going to just hone back into some larger structure.
I love it. All right, so I have 2 stories left. I just wanted to make sure we get through tonight. This next one is weird, okay? This next one, if I'm being honest, if I'm putting my tinfoil hat on, it feels like a weird psyop or something. Okay?
Love that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's expose whatever.
We're going to blow the lid off this one.
This is not real. I'm already against it. I haven't even heard anything about it.
So this is from New York Post, but it was in Wall Street Journal. This was in a ton of places. And I saw this headline all over the place. And I thought it was really intriguing, but also because I'm honestly a little desensitized after all of the things that we've learned.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Sometimes I read something and I don't even read the story. I'm just like, yep, sounds right. And I just move on. But I did save this one and I came back to it. And it's more curious than it even sounds. So The headlines were basically saying that fleets of dozens of mysterious UFO drones were surveilling America's most sensitive military sites, and the Pentagon admitted it can't do much to stop the aerial intruders. Yes. So I was like, okay, this is crazy. I probably should have just read it immediately.
Can't do anything about this.
Yeah. So we'll just go through the story and then we'll kind of pick it apart, I think. So
no, it's funny because it's New York Post, so you're already like...
True, but again, this is like, I just took from them because they were using Wall Street Journal as their source, but I didn't have like a paid membership to the Wall Street Journal. So a lot of this is like from that though. So drones of unknown origin have been spotted flying over military bases in Virginia and Nevada in the past year, including a secret base for the Navy's Elite SEAL Team 6 Commando Unit and Naval Station Norfolk, the world's largest naval port. And this was, again, reported by Wall Street Journal. So federal laws prohibit the military from shooting down drones due to the potential risks to troops and civilians. Like if it's a bomb, there's like a lot of things, right?
Yeah, they definitely follow that rule too all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. So jamming the signals was also ruled out in high-level White House meetings, according to the Journal, over concerns that it would interfere with 911 systems, Wi-Fi networks, and commercial airliners. The result is that the Pentagon had little recourse to halt the potential surveillance from foreign adversaries. This is very confusing to me. So former U.S. Air Force General Mark Kelly was first made aware of the drone sightings in December of 2023 when officials at Langley Air Force Base along the Virginia coast reported seeing dozens of drones flying over the base at night. The base is home to the F-22 Raptor fighter jets, one of the American military's most advanced stealth warplanes. The drones continue appearing over the course of 17 days, with officials suspecting they might have been deployed by Russian or Chinese agents to spy on American military assets. Because snooping does not constitute an imminent threat, the military was prohibited by law from shooting down these drones. And a direct jamming attack also had the potential to interfere with commercial aircraft during the holiday travel season. So analog tactics were also unsuccessful as local police aided in the investigation, but they kept losing sight of the drones during the chases, which is weird. So the drone sightings ended on December 23rd of 2023, with officials still unsure where they came from and who was operating them.
Shout out Casper's birthday.
Oh yeah, shout out Cass. So given the complexity of the operation and number of drones flying in coordination, authorities had ruled out the possibility that amateur drone pilots were behind the sightings.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you can rule that out.
But now they're saying that then they pivot this story and they say a month later, a Chinese student who was studying at the University of Minnesota was caught flying a drone near this Air Force base. And the student had gotten his drone stuck in a tree and appeared to have abandoned it when he flew to California the next day. It fell from a tree the same day. It was found its way to the FBI, whatever that means. And then they found the device had photographed Navy ships docked at the base. So he was arrested a week later as he was about to board a one-way flight trip to China, with prosecutors charging him with unlawfully taking photos of classified naval installations. Okay, sure. But and again, it just goes in a little more about how he claimed
Chinese spy.
Yeah, he claimed he was a student on vacation flying a drone for fun, but then he pleaded guilty to the espionage charges in October of this year. So I think that's when this is coming out. But U.S. officials have
this quote on here.
If he was a foreign agent, he would be the worst spy ever known. That's what his attorney said.
You can't rule that out.
Yeah. Fair.
It's funny.
But that's his attorney that said it, which is really funny. So along with the incidents in Virginia, U.S. officials have confirmed that similar swarms of drones have recently been spotted near Edwards Air Force Base in Nevada. And the DoD has yet to publicly state who is behind these apparent surveillance drones.
You remember Chinese spy balloon?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's something weird going on here.
Yeah,
okay?
and even so, if that was so easily just not debunked, but just it's not that big of a deal. Maybe that's the 4D chess of it all.
Maybe the 4D chess.
We're just gonna make it be it's just some fall guy.
It's just, it's very weird.
What are they doing? What is he doing taking pictures of that if it's just I'm just doing it for fun?
I don't know.
What is Chinese spy balloon? Remember when everybody was trying to shoot the Chinese spy balloon down?
Yes.
That was a great moment for the country. That was the last
we
time
almost came together
I
there.
think that was the last time that we all banded together in support of one thing.
All right.
Left and the right, everybody all together. Chinese spy balloons got to come down.
That's fair.
Get my rifle.
We almost made it there as a country. Good, better times. So, okay, the last thing I wanted to get into, this is just how I wanted to close it out tonight, is first playing a little clip, and then we'll talk about it, okay?
Okay.
All right, here's the clip.
Oh, I'm totally convinced that we're experiencing a non-human higher intelligence. Completely convinced because I know the people who were in the government programs, the legacy programs that oversaw both the crash retrieval and just the analysis of UAP data. So that I'm very confident in these people, former intelligence, former DoD, and we are working as a team behind the scenes to advance disclosure.
Interesting, right? So this person,
Who's that?
this person's name is Admiral Tim Hallaudet, and they were a former administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And he confirms that he is testifying at a congressional hearing on November 13th. Tim has previously said, or he said in this clip, "I'm totally convinced that we are experiencing a non-human higher intelligence because I know people who were in the legacy programs that oversaw both the crash retrieval and the analysis of the UAP data." Both the House and Senate plan to hold UAP hearings, with the House hearing run by the House Oversight Committee, which also held a public UAP hearing last year that featured whistleblower David Grutch, a former Air Force intelligence officer who first came forward on News Nation with allegations that the Pentagon was operating a secret UFO retrieval program. So many of the same lawmakers who will be involved in the upcoming hearing, which will be led by Representative Nancy Mace, who is a Republican from South Carolina. And this is tentatively set for November 13th. Nancy Mace told News Nation there are still some witnesses the committee wants to pin down, but the committee isn't identifying them yet out of fear they could be intimidated out of testifying. One piece of information that may be part of the upcoming hearing is independent journalist Michael Schellenberger's reporting on a whistleblower who came forward to Congress and revealed what they said is the existence of an illegal and classified program known as Immaculate Constellation. Schellenberger said the whistleblower claims the program is currently being run and is designed to reverse engineer UAPs. Whether or not you think there are extraterrestrial or non-human intelligence, even if you think that all of this is just some sort of advanced craft, the allegation here is by a new whistleblower verified by other sources in a position to know is that the Defense Department has kept secret this information from Congress, which is a violation of the Constitution. And to this day, the Pentagon has denied the program exists and says they have no record of ever having a program by the name of Immaculate Constellation.
That's such a good name, though.
It really
Why wouldn't you
is.
admit that you...
I would want to take credit for that.
that person has been silenced. Whoever came up with...
Quite possibly.
They have a Pentagon namer who names all the operations and everything. And he really cooked with...
Immaculate Constellation.
With that one.
That is a good one, yeah.
Immaculate Constellation.
So theoretically, by the time we record our next episode, this hearing will have happened.
Yes. Well, November 13th, right?
Yes. So
what is that?
theoretically, because they're saying it's
9
tentatively
days?
scheduled. Yes.
9
So
days
9
from
days from now, supposedly this hearing's going to happen. And again, I think it's also interesting that they're having one for the House and for the Senate. So this is just very interesting.
Well, they're
stuff
going to
here.
pull the same thing where they go, okay, so then this is like for the public, and then there's like this is good for the closed meeting.
Yeah, true.
After, same way that they've always done all
True.
these.
Maybe this time the guy will know how to use freaking, what was the program? Do you remember the video where the guy was just like
Where
understand
he couldn't pause it.
how to use the
He like couldn't like
video
fast
program?
forward, like he couldn't clip it onto the right, like
That was a painful
brutal.
experience.
brutal. I forgot
yes.
about that. Was like, I mean,
Yeah, that
what
was-
was that, like 4 years? Like
A couple years ago, yeah. Anyway, I could
Lifetime
probably
ago.
continue and go on and 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 on. But I just really wanted to give this little quick update because I feel like there's a lot of interesting things happening right now that are revolving around this conversation.
On the horizon, and it always happens around election time a little bit.
That's fair. That's a good point. I don't know. It's all very interesting. There's some big stuff coming out, and I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I agree that as a species, we are probably not ready for it, but
It's the wrong time, dude.
Yeah, I just...
Because, so it's like, yeah.
It's
just
like...
on top of everything. But when is the right time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like having a kid, getting engaged, any life thing you're going to do.
Disclosure.
When's the right time for disclosure, you know? You
It's just
gotta
like having a
pull the
kid.
Band-Aid off, and you just got to let it happen because it's never going to be the right time, but it's going to work out when it happens.
I like your optimism.
I want to tell
HP
that to the
Hovercraft.
U.S. government. You want to think that it's not the right time for us. There's too much going on in our lives. We're all working on our careers, you know, but you got to let us have it because it's never going to be the right time. The right time is now.
Yeah, I do agree. Knowledge is power, you know, and as long as they have it and we don't, that's just a power vacuum that has existed for a long time.
And then I just want to say, if nothing happens with this, whoever party emerges, that's going to be I think that I do really feel like this election cycle feels like the end, like not quite the end, but the beginning of the end of the two-party system in a way.
I would love
that. Do you
that.
feel that?
I would love
like
that.
It's in the air.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like it's been in the air for a long time, but I feel like this really feels like it's strongly in the air. Somebody please start the alien disclosure party.
Let's do it.
And I think that would
Let's do it.
do much better than the Green Party or whatever else is going on.
Yeah.
I think if somebody started that, a full-on disclosure party, maybe it's us. Can't be me because I am not a full citizen. Being from Canada, can never be president.
I never even thought about that.
Can't do it.
That's
I think
interesting.
can I be vice president
I have no idea.
as not
Are
a
you
full
like-
citizen?
What do you mean not a full citizen?
Well, so I'm
Like,
not
are you-
natural born
Okay.
because I'm from Canada, so I can never be president because I was born in Canada.
Let's look it up.
Can I
'cause now
be
I'm
the
curious.
vice president?
No.
Okay. Well, that dream's gone.
It's both. It's both.
You know what's fun about all this is
What?
that Casper, first person in my bloodline that can be president.
That is exciting.
And also somebody, an old lady at the antique mall when he was about 6 months old, looked at him in his stroller, said, "What's his name?" We said Casper. He said, "Ooh, he's going to be the president."
Ooh.
That's what she said. And I said, "Thank you, witch doctor." Predicting the future.
We have to start training
He's
him
going to be the
now.
president.
President
So she
via the disclosure party.
she told it
I am here for this.
this happened.
This is amazing.
He will be the president.
I love it.
It was foretold. In the Goodlettsville Antique Mall.
President Casper.
President Casper.
Has a good ring to it.
Casper Lee and Navis Black, the 75th president of the United States of America.
Wow. It's going to be like 100 years from now. All right. You've been listening to Dizzy Spell.
I don't think he'll live to. He'll be 102 in his first.
His first election.
All right.
All right, you've been listening to Dizzy Spell on the We Own This Town podcast network, recorded live at We Own This Town studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Special thanks to our editor and producer, Michael Eads. And our podcast network, We Own This Town, for hosting us. Thank you to Victoria Ocampo for our logo and design. And thank you to Jay Childers for the soundbed music you hear all throughout our episodes. You can check out more of his work at jchilders.bandcamp.com. Follow us on social media at Dizzy Spell World, and please leave us a review on your preferred streaming source, but only
5 stars.
if it's 5 stars.
5 stars. 5 American flags to the election.
5
5 UAPs.
5 tis
5.
of thee.
What?
5 tis of thee. I don't know. I like 5 UAPs.
5 UAPs.
And beware the glitter guardians, Earthlings. And you know what? It's not okay to kill, but it's okay to die.
I am not a gun. Superman.
Good night, Earthlings.
Bye.